It takes commitment and a lot of your time, focus, energy, and tenacity to reach your goals. And everything you have a relationship with will make some kind of impact on you getting there or not getting there. Therefore, it's imperative that when you are assessing your goals, also assess those people, places, things, and thoughts that you associate yourself with. I want you to take what I call the DDA, the Dream Dragons Assessment. This consists of any person, place, thing, or thought that hinders your progress to wherever it is you're trying to get to. Now, I call them dream dragons because, like a fire, they'll destroy everything and anything within its path, including your purpose, including you. They are poisonous to your dreams, distractors of your divine destiny. So this assessment is necessary in order for you to recognize, confront, and eliminate these dragons in your life. If what or who you have in your life isn't good for you, if it feels like a heavy burden, if it takes your focus, if it discourages your dreams, if it depletes your energy, if it constantly consumes, belittles, and takes, and doesn't give anything positive in return, then I urge you to challenge yourself to have the courage to assess, lay aside, improve, or eliminate them altogether from your life. You see, this will enable you to create a clear path to where it is that you're trying to get to. When assessing your toxic connections in your Dream Dragons assessment, decide who or what is worth keeping in your life. And only keep them, I might add, if there is a willingness to commit to changing the course of these relationships for the better. Ask yourself these questions. 1, is my relationship with these people, places, things, and thoughts assets or liabilities for me? Simple as that. What are the benefits and what are the pitfalls? 2, in relation to my dreams and to my becoming the person I was destined to be, are these people, places, things, and thoughts driving forces in my life that add value, that propels me towards success, or do they derail me? 3, can my relationship with these toxic connections truly be improved? And if so, how? 4, what timeline am I giving myself to make these improvements? And am I willing to walk away from them altogether if improvements doesn't happen? And lastly, 5, are these toxic connections worth trying to save? Or should I just cut my losses now? Now, let's break them down, those people, places, things, and thoughts. And we will start with, of course, people. When assessing the toxic people connection in your life, ask the questions. Are any of these people willing to make a serious commitment in conjunction with me to change the existing toxic status of the relationship in order to make it mutually positive? And am I a part of the connection? And am I part of the toxic? You didn't see that coming, did you? Oh, come on now. Let's get real. Sometimes the problems aren't the other people. Sometimes we are the toxic culprits in our own lives and in the lives of others. So before you look outwardly for toxic connections in your life, take an honest DDA, self-assessment, and begin to peel back the layers of your attitude, thoughts, and behaviors. Now, let me say this. This isn't so you can beat yourself up or to have a pity party. It's merely a DDA to self-assess and to self-improve. And we all can get better. We can all better our best. So again, let's not beat yourself up over your findings. We must, nevertheless, take personal responsibility for the parts we play in our own lives, and not just for the good parts, but for those parts that are painful and causes us some regrets. The only way to grow is to take responsibility for your own dragons. So again, our toxic connections isn't always other people. Sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me. Don't be the one who gets in the way of your dreams or anyone else's. I know it's difficult to look at our own individual areas of weaknesses, but we all have them. And guess what? We get to keep them if we refuse to assess and address them. So let's put the I and the E aside, the ego and ignorance, because they will block traffic. You won't be able to get past go if you're not willing to grow. You have far too much work to do, ladies and gentlemen, to be caught up in a constant cycle of life's traffic jams. You see, life will automatically send you some things that will blindside you to block your progress. That's just life. Things happen. But don't give it a helping hand to stop your progress. Don't give it any help. While slowly eliminating my own external and internal toxic connections, there was one that had deepened its hold on me, and I'm telling you, I could not let it go. Or should I say, it wouldn't let me go. Ladies and gentlemen, that toxic connection was fear. It had guided me my entire life, and I was arrested by it. For example, I realized my dreams at 26, but didn't find the courage to pursue them until I was 38. And even then, I had my reservations and moments of fear and worry. Talk about stagnation and bondage. So take a real honest DDA to determine what's your inner toxic, so you can weed them out and grow. Now let me warn you, as you work to get rid of your own inner toxic connections, the process will be painful. But let your will and desire to overcome them reach farther, greater heights and depths than the pain of having to face them. And another thing I must warn you about is that as you begin to change and grow, there will be some onlookers. Oh, yes. Some will applaud your improvements. Others won't care, but haters will hate. These are the ones who will seek to remind you of your past, judge your ambitions, or pick apart your flaws. They won't understand the new and improve you. And they don't want to understand. So they will resort to tampering. but put them on notice that you don't need any reminders of your past because you were there. You lived it. And also swiftly put them on notice that you don't live in the shadows of your yesterdays and you are not the mistakes you've made. Tell them that they can't trap you in the snares of history, nor can they trap you by their limited and small-minded and, need I say, flawed perception of who they think you are and what they think about your dreams. You see, you've got to disrupt the interruptions that come to knock you off course, to discourage your possibilities. Places. Another possible toxic connection. After you've assessed yourself and your relationships with the people in your life, take a good look at the places you frequent. Is there a toxic connection there? In one summer, I gained 20 pounds eating a large custard on a cone Monday through Friday, and sometimes on Saturdays. Oh yes, I had it really bad. My addiction to this deliciously creamy custard, chocolate and vanilla twist on a cone, did me wonders on those hot and sunny days. Sometimes it even took the place of my lunch. And sometimes I would even eat 2 in a day. I would go and return after I've been there during the lunch hour. I would return around dinner time. I'm telling you, it had this hold on me. I don't know what they put in this. It had become so bad that the young lady who worked there, the cashier, when she would see me walking across the street in that direction, by the time I entered the establishment, she had already made my cone. Now you know that's bad. And each time she would do this, I would tilt my head down a little in shame, and we would both just laugh, and I would shake my head because we both knew if someone spots you outside before you have entered their store and they got your product ready, that's a sign you go there a little too often, a little too much. But that's when I realized I had a problem. Now, you'd think I would have realized this much sooner, given my expanded waistline, but I didn't. So this establishment had become my toxic connection. I misused it. So I had to stop going there for a while because the relationship I had developed with it, with that custard on a cone, and oh yeah, I forgot, the hot pretzel with the cheese baked inside too. They all had become toxic for me. So for me, I had to stop going there. So as you see, not every place is or will be in and of itself toxic. But it's the relationship, the connection that you have established with it that can make it become toxic for you. So keep that in mind. Another example is every now and then I like to go into a restaurant and sit at the bar and have a lunch. And I may have a glass of wine. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. However, if I found myself sitting at that same establishment every single day, having several glasses of wine, guess what? I've established a toxic connection. I have a problem. Now, things. The same goes for the things, those vices in your life. So take the DDA on the things. For example, cigarettes are things. And on the pack of cigarettes, it clearly says, warning, may cause cancer. And yet millions of people invest their hard-earned dollars into something that says it can kill them. For example, according to the American Cancer Society's website at cancer.org, about half of all Americans who keep smoking will die because of the habit. Each year, 480,000 people in the U.S. alone die from illnesses related to tobacco use. Smoking cigarettes kills more Americans than alcohol, car accidents, suicide, AIDS, homicide, and illegal drugs combined. And yet, this thing a lot of people invest in, this is definitely a toxic connection if this is your thing. So keep that in mind. And if you want to know more information about that, if you have a problem smoking, please contact cancer.org and get information for yourself. Don't take my word. Hear the experts for yourself. And you decide if this is a toxic connection that you can handle. How much will it cost you? Not in money, because you can always get money back, but how much will it cost you in terms of the numbers of days that it subtracts from your life? Is the price you're willing to pay for this thing too big? Or is your purpose and your dreams, are those things more important to you? And of course, your health. So you weigh the cost based on the things that you perceive to be your toxic connections. Another thing that the website gives statistics on, and I'm not going to recite them here, but it states the number of people who will die a premature death, not because they smoke, but because of secondhand smoke, because of what they're connected to. They are around other people who smoke. Let me ask you something. What are some things that you are connected to that is ultimately leading you to a premature death, or that's causing your dreams to die? Lastly, let's talk about thoughts. Let's conduct a DDA, the Dream Dragon Assessment, on our inner conversations to determine where we are in our thoughts. Thoughts are powerful because sooner or later you will act upon them or be inactive because of them. For example, there were those thoughts where I told myself early on that I wasn't good enough, wasn't smart enough, wasn't pretty enough, wasn't thin enough, or didn't have enough resources to live out the life I craved, the one that I envisioned for myself. What toxic thoughts do you carry inside that holds your ambitions hostage, that hold your healing hostage? Maybe you're sick or hurting or going through some financial challenges, and you've already thrown in the towel by telling yourself that things will never get better. and that you will never overcome your struggle. I had to make it a priority to rid myself of some toxic thinking. I had to evict those thoughts that did not serve me well. And these included some not so nice thoughts I had about other people as well, who I didn't like in particular. And the thoughts that were positive. Now these are the ones, those intellectual expressions of my desires and dreams, those positive thoughts, my personal inner cheerleading thoughts. Those are the ones that I kept, the ones that mirrored love, kindness, and peace, and hope and possibilities. I decided to assess them and then to live them out. I had to learn to start living outside of my head and to make some of these intangible things tangible and to turn off and evict the toxic noise. What's your noise? What's your inner toxic? What must you turn off, evict, change, and get rid of in order to allow the free-flowing, positive thinking to start manifesting in your life? I encourage you, take the DDA, the Dream Dragon Assessment of those people, places, things, and thoughts you have in your life. Do it today.